Let's take a look at ecology. Okay? So looking from ecology, you're an ecologist, okay? Who doesn't listen, never have. Okay. So as an ecologist, what are some of the things that you have a concern with as an ecologist?
The content of my environment.
Okay, very, very good. You have the content. What about you? What's something as an ecologist, if you look at your environment, that you have a concern with or about? That'd be you. Yeah, something like that, like their health, their well-being, something like that. Just think of it in terms of like, you know, what you've read in the papers and if you have that interest. What do you have an interest in as an ecologist?
Outside influences.
Outside influences, yeah. What do you have an interest in?
My future.
You have an interest in your future. You do, don't you? And you have an interest in certain things that are going to impact your future. What would be some of the things that would impact your future? What would be some of the stuff in terms of your ecology, in terms of your environment? Yeah, yeah. What kind of outside influences?
Like someone's going to hurt me.
Someone could hurt you? Yeah. What about if it wasn't about you, but it was about the environment? Like just step outside the room in your mind, okay? The air. Yeah, the air I breathe. I have a concern about that. I have a concern about pollution. You got that? I have a concern about all things that are around that. I have these kinds of concerns. Yes? And we could put a lot more up there, but we have these kinds of concerns, okay? Now, the point is, what's the diff between this environment we work in and the environment outside? There really is none when you get at it, okay? So as a leader, you're an ecologist for your environment. Now, this is usually a new idea to take on, or at least underline something that we haven't thought about it quite that way before. So this is one of those places where you put a little bit of language on something and it gives you a little bit of power. So that's our environment. And if you take a look, my buddy Jack put this together. You can see the pretty little robins and you can see the nice little flowers and stuff like that. Okay? So we're responsible for the quality of the listening in an environment. When we're dealing with people, they talk a particular way, and they listen to people in a particular way. I'm now working with you, and we're talking, what's your name?
Gene.
Gene, okay? And we're having a conversation about Gene, and if this conversation is not something that is uplifting to Gene, it's something that is actually driving him down, whether he's there or not, okay? It actually impacts our environment. Does that make sense to you? Okay, good. All right, so stop it, okay? Guys, I'm going to play with you all day long, so you might as well, like, you know.
You probably should change seats.
Yeah, exactly, you know, because I'm going to laugh with you or at you, one of the two. Okay, hard decisions, as in the buck stops here. You are that person as a leader. You are that person. And the number one threat to the ecology, what's the number one threat to any ecology that has people in it? What would you say? Contamination, very much so. Wow. In what way, particularly? There.
So it's us, it's humans, you know.
Say again?
It's us, the humans, we're the biggest threat to the environment.
We are. And we're in a particular way because we live in language. Who you are, Heidegger said, the being of human being arises in the house of language. So how you come alive as you come alive in language. Here's the threat to our environment. Gossip. Pure and simple. Pure and simple. There's no number two. Okay? So when you hear it, it is actually being destructive to your environment. It is actually undermining your ability to produce, for example. How come? Because when you listen big, people perform big. When you listen small, people perform small.